everyone, and welcome back to another virtual program presented by the Pamunkey Regional Library. My name is DJ.
And I'm Christina.
And we're the Adult Services team at the Mechanicsville branch of Pamunkey Regional Library. And today we're going to have a easy to make seafood virtual program with a slew of ingredients. We're going to be making 3 easy to make recipes. So let's get started.
Hi guys, so we're back again. So we are going to do for our first recipe the canned crab and corn salad. This one is probably my favorite one out of all of them, taste wise, and very simple steps, very simple ingredients. It looks like there's just 5 or 6 items, so most of these are going to come from your pantry or things that you already have just around the house. So we'll start with your crab meat. This is really easy. You can make it more fancy by buying the imitation crab, or you can just buy the canned stuff. Canned corn. This is also easy, or if you want something that has a little less salt in it, you can go with the frozen corn. So then we have a half of a diced onion. I really prefer to not have to dice an onion, so I picked these up from Food Lion. These are nice, already diced. And then that's about a full onion, I believe, so we'll use about half of that. And then a half a cup of mayonnaise. I swear to you this is mayonnaise. This just came from home. I like to use the mayonnaise with olive oil in it, just to kind of keep a better texture with things, and I think it tastes better, but that's just me. Use whichever mayonnaise you prefer. And then we just have some salt and some pepper. That's just to taste. So if you like it a little spicier, then you can add a little bit more pepper. If you don't want to add any of the salt, that's up to you. So we'll start with these ingredients and we'll go from there. As you saw before, our ingredients are very simple, and pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to start with the crab meat. I've already opened up the can, and we're just going to dump that in. It has been drained, so you want to make sure there's fairly little liquid in it, just in case. And then you can recycle that when you're done. And then the next one is to add your corn. You can add the whole can or half a can, or it really depends on how you feel about corn. Me, I'm a corn lover, so I'm just going to add all of that in there and just give it a little mix. And then as I said before, one of these containers is 5 ounces. It's going to be about an onion, I believe, so we're going to do about half of these containers to get your half an onion. And these are very strong today, so be careful with your onions. So then we just mix it all up, and then we've got our mayo to kind of keep it together. This is about a half a cup. And again, if you are used to making any kind of chicken salad or egg salad and you like yours a little creamier, it's kind of like that. You just add your mayo if you feel like you need more, just based on texture. I think we might be okay. Don't think we're gonna need any more mayonnaise. So then the next thing to add is your salt. Since the crab meat is going to have some salt in it, it's really up to you to do just a little bit. I do maybe half a teaspoon, maybe a little less. It's really dependent on how you like your things, how salty or not. And then your pepper is the last thing. And I'm really bad at home. I like to just do a little shake and call it good for my pepper, but you can do about a half a teaspoon if you would like, more or less. That's just to taste. And then we didn't bring it today, but if you wanted to add like fresh tomatoes or fresh cucumber or something like that from your garden, that would work really well with this. And that's pretty much your canned crab and corn salad. Here's your final product. So you just want to refrigerate this for about an hour before serving.
So for our next recipe, we're going to be doing a tuna, chickpea, and green bean salad. This recipe is a little bit more intensive than the other one, but I promise it's still really simple. We're just going to be using a can of our green beans right here, a can of tuna, and a can of chickpeas. Now, the original recipe called for about 3/4 of a can of chickpeas. We're just going to go ahead and use the whole thing. Again, it's up to you how much of each ingredient you want to use. And it's best to drain these beforehand just so it's not as messy when you mix it all together. We're going to be using one of our little onions that are very strong. We're going to be using a whole one this time, so pray for me. We're going to be using 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and then 2 tablespoons of dried basil. We'll go ahead and get started. So to get started, we're going to be adding just our 3 major ingredients. We're going to be dumping each of the cans of green beans, tuna, and chickpeas into our mix. So again, it's still a little bit of juice in there, but we like to drain as much as we can out of there beforehand, just so it's not as messy. Get our tuna in there. Again, it might get a little stuck, so you might have to take your little spoon and dunk it in there. There we go. And our chickpeas. They just fall right in. They're like popcorn. And then I'll just mix it up a little just to get all the ingredients together before we add all our other toppings. All right. And again, maybe you want to crush it down here just to chop up the tuna a little bit, because you see it's in a lot of chunks right now, so you want to distribute it as much as possible, just so we can have a little bit of tuna in every bite. Okay, so next is the fun part. We get to drizzle our olive oil and our basil, or our lemon juice. And again, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Just going to carefully. And it's okay if you get a little bit extra in there. Depends on, your preferences, how much you want in there. Okay. And we'll just add our 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Again, I'm just going to use the same exact measuring cup because it's going in the same place. It's all going in the same place, so it'll taste the same regardless. And you might have to squeeze it a little bit. But be careful if you have one of these and you're trying to squeeze it, because it could go everywhere. You don't want to get it in your eye. Just dunk it right in there. Go ahead and mix that up. All right, so now I'm going to put in the onion. This will be fun. We're going to put the whole thing in there. This is about an onion, as said earlier, so we're just going to dump the whole thing in there. Oh boy. This is very strong. very powerful onion that we have here. Again, you might not want to use a whole onion in your recipe. You might just like a little bit, or even none at all. That's perfectly fine. It's whatever you want. All right. So lastly, we're just going to add our dry basil in there. Again, only about 2 tablespoons. This is about a tablespoon right here, so we're just going to pour a little bit in there. Again, it might help if I just open it up and dunk it in there, but I don't trust myself to do that, so I'm just going to take a bit and dunk it right in here. That's 1 tablespoon. And there's 2. And I'll mix the whole thing up. Again, you might sometimes, if you're making a lot for a large group or gathering, you might want to use a bigger bowl. That's if you're using a lot more ingredients in there. For us, this bowl works just fine. We have our salad, and again, a tip is refrigerating it at least 1 hour before serving, just to make sure all the ingredients have had time to simmer in the bowl before serving, so it's evenly distributed. But yeah, that's our tuna, chickpea, and green bean salad.
All right, guys, so for our 3rd recipe, we're going to do the beet salmon salad. This is also very few ingredients and all things that you can get in the pantry or easy to get at the grocery store that'll last a little time. So we are starting with a can of beets. We just use the Great Value kind. And then we've got a can of salmon, 1 tablespoon of raspberry vinaigrette, so we just have the light version for us today, and then 1 tablespoon of orange juice. We picked out the no pulp, but you can use the pulp if you like it. And then we've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil here, and then to taste about a ½ teaspoon of salt. That's dependent on how salty you like your food. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so we're back with all of our recipes here. Again, this is the beet and salmon salad, so we're going to start with our beets. These should be drained. I left a little bit of juice in there, but it's, it's okay if there's a little bit, but it should be mostly drained. And be careful with the beets because they stain very easily. So the next thing is our can of salmon. You can use crab or a different kind of canned meat if you would like, or you could go vegetarian. It's completely up to you. But we figured this one would go really well with the salmon. And then we're going to use our raspberry vinaigrette. So again, that's 1 tablespoon to go in. And then the next thing we're doing is our orange juice, which is again 1 tablespoon. Since they're both liquid, I'm just going to use the same measuring spoon like we did before. And then our next item is our olive oil. For that one, we want to use 2 tablespoons. And then last but not least, just a little bit of salt. So this is, if you would like to add it, we're doing just a half a teaspoon. You don't have to, or if you would like to add more, you can. It's completely up to you, based on how salty you like your foods. And then we just give it a little mix. And it will be a little runnier with all the liquid that we added. So you can add, a second can of salmon if you would like, to make the ratio a little better. It's completely up to you, but there you have it. There's your beet and salmon salad.
So we're all back. Thank you all for watching. We hope you all enjoyed this presentation of these wonderful, easy to make seafood recipes. What are y'all's favorite seafood recipes to make this time of year? Are they as easy as these? Do you have any recommendations? You can leave them down below in the comments or let us know when you visit your local library. So be sure to tune in next time for more virtual programs, and we'll all see you next time.